Hello, and welcome to the Weaving Creativity Kickoff course. My name is Dr. Cindy Burnett, and I'm the Director of Possibilities for Creativity and Education. I have been teaching deliberate creative thinking and problem solving to both undergraduate and graduate students for the last 20 years. My area of research focuses on the best ways of integrating creative thinking into any curriculum. One of the most interesting things I learned when speaking with educators was they wanted to bring creativity into the classroom, but unfortunately, they didn't know what that actually looked like. They didn't know where to begin, and most importantly, they didn't feel they had the time. Fortunately, research over the last 30 years has resulted in some quite effective answers to these questions. And the best part is that many of these answers involve simple shifts that can have a huge impact on the students' learning and engagement. Before we dive into these approaches, we need to cover some of the basics. The main question we need to address is, what exactly is creativity? Well, there are a lot of different definitions to choose from, and that reflects the diverse perspectives of researchers in this area. However, over the last 20 years, one basic definition has become widely accepted. This definition says that creativity is the generation of novel and useful ideas. There are all sorts of problems and questions relating to this definition, but it has proven to be a useful starting point for a lot of good work. So, for the purposes of our work together, I'm going to suggest we adopt this as a starting point of our conversation. While definitions are important, what we really want to focus on in this course is how to develop your students to develop their capacity to generate novel and useful ideas. And more importantly, how do you do this in your classroom where you already have a jam-packed curriculum? Here's the answer. By helping your students to develop a variety of skills that focus on becoming a more creative person. In other words, you won't be teaching creativity, but rather teaching in a way that evokes and develops your students' creativity. The best part about this is that it won't reduce the time you have to teach your specific subject, and it will give you a wider repertoire of ways in which to teach and engage your students. The skills I will be sharing with you in this kickoff course come mostly from the work of E. Paul Torrance, who is known as the father of creativity in education. His work, over many decades, resulted in the list of the skills that are associated with high creativity. I have posted a handout listing of these skills. Please note that although Torrance is responsible for the majority of these skills, other researchers have also contributed to the list. And that brings me to the question of how we're going to work together. Each weekday, over the course of the next week, I will be sending you an email with a short practice exercise on one of the skills. I know you're really busy, but I strongly encourage you to take the time to read the email and practice the exercise. If you have any questions about the exercises, please contact me, and I'll be happy to clarify any points. In the meantime, find us on all of your social media platforms at Creativity and Education for daily tips, events, and the latest information on creativity and education. Also, check out my book, Weaving Creativity into Every Strand of Your Curriculum, which has hundreds of ideas for your classroom. Let's get started.